Sempre chega como um dos favoritos na BCLA, no Final Four agora também em 2023. Qual a sua expectativa para a semifinal contra o Minas?
Boa tarde, acho que especificamente nesse jogo contra o Minas não há favorito, acho que as duas equipes se equivalem. Vieram de uma campanha muito boa, as duas equipes estão muito bem no NBB também, nosso campeonato interno, então a gente sabe que historicamente nos últimos 4, 5 anos o Minas tem sido um adversário duro, às vezes o Flamengo ganha, às vezes o Minas ganha, espero que dessa vez seja Flamengo.
Qual a chave que você acha que é para o Flamengo poder vencer esse jogo e avançar para a final?
O Minas é um time que corre muito bem a quadra, principalmente para frente, né? Tem uma transição ofensiva muito forte, um rebote muito forte, muito bom aproveitamento nos 3 pontos também, então a gente está bem preparado, treinamos muito para tentar parar esses pontos fortes deles.
Obrigado, Gustavo, boa sorte. Léo, Minas chega de novo ao Final Four da BCLA Américas. Qual a sua expectativa para a semifinal contra o Flamengo?
Bom, boa tarde a todos. Sem dúvida, a gente sabe que vai ser um jogo duríssimo. Não se ganha uma partida de Final Four, de um campeonato desse nível, jogando mais ou menos. Então nós temos que jogar no nosso limite aqui hoje. Acho que todas as equipes estão com esse pensamento. E falando especialmente do 1-2-3 Minas, a gente vem com um nível de confiança muito alto e nos preparamos muito bem para esse momento. Então, espero que a gente faça uma ótima partida e consiga avançar para a final pela primeira vez.
O fato de Minas ter jogado nos outros anos também o Final Four, você encara como um fator positivo? O time chega mais pronto, chega menos nervoso para os jogos?
É importante, alguns jogadores participaram, né, das outras etapas do Final Four com a gente, mas é um grupo que também foi muito reformulado, mas foi montado com jogadores experientes, de alto nível, para a gente conseguir viver esses momentos decisivos de uma forma positiva. Então, espero que a gente consiga, desde o início do jogo, impor o nosso ritmo para tentar essa vitória importante aqui.
Obrigado, Léo.
Good afternoon and welcome into the first semifinal game in the 2023 Basketball Champions League America's Championship Tournament. Alongside Carlin Gay, I'm Craig Feda, and we're so glad you can be with us wherever you're tuned in from around the world. The venue is Ginásio Pedro Cao in Franca, Brazil, as a pair of teams that are extremely familiar with each other are getting ready to go at it. Minas, based in Rio, and Flamengo from Belo Horizonte, a couple of 100 miles north of Rio, are the opponents in this first semifinal, while Franca and Quibsa will square off in just a little while. Minas swept Libertadores de Querétaro of Mexico in the quarterfinals, while Flamengo took 2 straight from Universidad de Concepción of Chile. Ball's in the air, and we are underway. Carlin, great to be back with you this year at the BCLA semifinals. Looking forward to another great Final Four.
No question about it. And then 2 great teams, as you said, that know a lot about each other. One team that, shoots the ball. Both teams actually shoot the ball pretty well from 3-point range. So expecting a lot of points tonight. Should be fun.
Both teams indeed shoot the ball very well. As Flamengo draws first blood, Rafael Hetzscheimer, the 6'10 center, scores the first 2 points of the game for Flamengo. Dunk attempt missed, but a foul called on the play. It's going to be Renan Lenz going to the free throw line.
It's a great job of
starters. Well, we have a moment. Sorry, Carlin. For Minas in white, Alexi Borges, Felipe Visaro, Shaquille Johnson, Alexandre Paranjos, and the venerable captain Renan Lenz at the free throw line, missing the first free throw. That's his first free throw in BCLA play this season.
Yeah, it's a great
Flamengo, Ricardo Fischer, Nicolas Aguirre, Gabriel Galvanini, Rafael Hetzscheimer, and Martin Cuello. So Lenz gives Minas their first point in this game. Fischer wheeling and dealing on the left side. Shot clock down to 10. Into the paint. The little floater is up and good for Aguirre.
Good sign here for Flamengo early, Craig, getting inside, scoring in the paint. You want to establish the paint early in these type of situations, get the nerves out of the way, let the ball go through the hoop, and then stretch out the floor and get to your 3-point game.
It's like warming up in golf. You start with the short shots, and you work your way to the driver. Hanging jumper from outside the left elbow, no good, and Flamengo looking to extend this early 3-point lead. Pass out to the right side. Here's Cuello around the screen. Now he picks up the dribble. Right side to Aguirre, now back to Hetzscheimer. Pass outside, shot clock at 8. Little floater from the left side, that rings off. Rebound to Minas, looking for their first field goal. Borges, just outside the left elbow. Pass nearly goes into the backcourt. The officials say they keep possession, and now the ball skitters out of bounds. It will stay with Minas, and 7 on the shot clock.
Well, last Flamengo possession, they went back inside to Hetzscheimer, and a guy that was able to put the first points on the board here in the Final Four. But that time the double came, and the spacing just wasn't there. So something that Flamengo is going to have to kind of get organized with on the offensive side if they really want to open things up and put some pressure on this Minas D.
And now the inbound pass turned over. It's going to be Flamengo ball. We're going to have to go to the length of the court. Aguirre giving it up. And Ricardo Fischer talked in the open about the shooting prowess of both of these teams. Neither team has really taken an outside shot so far, as Flamengo scores on the layup. That's Martin Cuello, the Argentine, scoring his first bucket, and it's a 6-1 lead for Flamengo.
That time much better off the double team. The ball moved, it popped, and you got a layup.
There's a fadeaway. Felipe Visaro gives Minas their first field goal of the game, and it is 6-3 early on here in the first semifinal. Fisher thought about the three, got it over to Galvanini, and now back to Hetschemeyer. Works his way in close, and it's popped out of there by Alexandre Pregame, but Pregame gets called for the foul.
I laugh because Hetschemeyer walks over to the bench and, asks for a towel. He got 5 back in return, but you see what the plan is down low, Craig. Like, get it to number 30, let him play with his back to the basket, and force Minas to make a decision. Are they going to double team or are they going to single up? More times than not, it's going to put a defender in jail and potentially in foul trouble. That's why we see Hetschemeyer at the line right now.
Hetschemeyer hits the first free throw. He's an 85.7% free throw shooter in BCLA play. And Flamengo's got a little bit of size on Minas. You've got Hetschemeyer at 6'10". You've also got Rafa Minejo coming off the bench at 6'10". Pregame, the biggest player on Minas, at 6'8". Renan Lenz actually is 6'9", but he's not playing that 5 position.
It's a very deep squad. It feels like they're about 10 deep, and doesn't matter who's playing well or who starts. It really is who comes down to finish the game, and that normally happens within the flow of the game for this Flamengo team with a ton of experience.
Not much going offensively on this set for Minas. Shot clock winding down. The bailout drive along the baseline stuffed, and here comes Flamengo back the other way. First three-pointer of the game, no good. Rings off left side. Rebound Pregame. There's Alexi Borges up the right side, around the screen by Johnson, into the paint, gives it back to Johnson, and he draws the foul. Nice little give and go there. And Shaquille Johnson will go to the free throw line. He's an 82.4% free throw shooter. Beg your pardon, that's Pregame, not Shaquille Johnson. Pregame, a 78.6% free throw shooter. The foul was on Hetschemeyer.
Pregame could take advantage of the athleticism advantage he has on Hetschemeyer, and really in that two-man game, if he's able to roll hard, it really is going to be tough to kind of protect that rim if you're Flamengo. So good action there. I'd like to see that a little bit more offensively from Minas.
Minas cuts it to 3. Here's Aguirre. Shot clock down to 7. Now Flamengo looking for something offensively. Aguirre gets the paint. Left-hand layup high off the glass won't go. And I thought I heard a whistle. There it was, yeah.
Shot clock violation on that possession, and
yeah,
that's the first.
The rim. That's what I.
Yeah, it's the first time we really saw Minas impose themselves on the defensive end. It really felt like every time down the floor, Flamengo has been able to get whatever they wanted. Shots haven't always fallen, but they've taken the shots that they wanted. That time didn't happen for them. We get the 24-second violation.
So let's see if that sparks Minas. Shot by Borges, blocked. Three-pointer on the way. That's up and good. Minas ties it up at 8 with 5:33 to play. The captain, Renan Lenz, squares it. Now Flamengo a little bit cold, looking to answer. Aguirre getting it out. Now the pass back inside to Galvanini. And foul call.
And then again, attacking the block. And you see the way Galvanini was going to make a move. And all he could do was wrap up in that situation. Fortunately, unable to defend on the inbound. You saw the easy 2 there, right?
Yeah, Galvanini at 6'8", guarded by Felipe Vassaro at 6'3". Gave him that bear hug, but it ended up in an easy bucket for Flamengo anyway, and they're back on top by 2. Here's Shaquille Johnson. Lenz, the long three-pointer, a little too strong. That rebound goes out of bounds, and it'll be Flamengo ball.
Hope that Lenz doesn't fall in love with that triple. We saw him on the opening possession for Minas really roll hard to the rim and make himself kind of known as a guy that's going to put pressure on the goal. The first three-pointer he took fell, right? Like that's his shot. He's wide open. He's going to take that one. That one was a little bit ambitious, though.
Yeah, Yeah, that was getting out toward Steph Curry.
He's wearing number 30, isn't he? 44. Maybe a Keith Van Horn situation.
There you go. There's 44. Martin Cuello, his three-pointer is no good. Rebound, Alexi Borgeson among the trees at 5'11", pulls that rebound out of there, looking to tie up. Another three-pointer. That one's good. Renan Lenz says, I missed from the left side from way outside, but the right side's my spot.
Know what he really said?
Minas their first lead of the game.
Craig, you know what he really said? He said, Carlin, you have no idea what you're talking about. Just keep your mouth shut and let me do my thing.
So it's 11-10, Minas, 4:04 to play first quarter. Now, Flamengo trying to answer with a three-pointer. No good. Rebound, Shaquille Johnson. Here's Borges into the paint, pulls up just inside the free throw line. That's good. Minas running now. They've got a 13-10 lead. Biggest lead of the game was Flamengo leading by 5 at 6-1. Now Minas has their biggest lead at 3. They can extend it to 5, maybe 6 with a tray here. Yes, sir. An 8-0 run by Minas, capped by the three-pointer. Gives Minas a 16-10 lead, and Gustavo Conti wants timeout. An 8-0 run since Renan Lenz tied it up at 8. Pardon, a 6-0 run. Flamengo got the next basket at 10-8. Lenz hit the three-pointer from the right side. And now it's 16-10. Going into the huddle here, Carlin, Gustavo Conti, his team is a little bit shell-shocked right now. What is Gustavo Conti telling his team?
Getting back in transition is going to be a key on both sides, and I'll be quiet here to let him speak.
A gente demora muito para recuperar, tanto na transição defensiva quanto no rebote. Perdeu o rebote, acerta logo cada no seu. Aqui vai giro. Giro de novo. Olha só. Giro o lado. O Locu vai sair aqui no bloqueio. Vamos.
What I began to say
is a game of runs.
Yeah. What I began to say was you're going to have to get back in transition. Right now, seeing some of the highlights here from Minas. It started with that Lenz 3, the fall away here from Borges in the lane. And right now, it's 8-0 in terms of fast break points for Minas. They're really kind of forcing the tempo to get to their level of play, put a lot of points up on the board, put some pressure. And when the ball goes in the basket, Craig, you know it's easier to set your defense up, and that's what we've seen these last couple possessions. They've been able to get back with the defense set and make things tougher now with that defense extended for Flamengo.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, Carlin, because don't forget, in the early part of the first quarter, Flamengo was dictating their will by going to Hetschemeyer down in the post and taking advantage. But once Minas hit a couple of shots and then started dictating the tempo on their own, that's been able to give them this advantage. And now,
boy, you don't see that call often.
No,
a travel on the inbound. Wow.
I think he stepped on the baseline. Minas looking to extend this 6-point lead. Biggest of the game for either team. These two teams met in the quarterfinals last year in an absolute thriller as Shaquille Johnson hits a 2-pointer. That one went back and forth. Neither team led by more than 7 the entire game. And there was very nearly a 3-point prayer that went in and then tipped in that had to go to replay. And it was shown that it was just a fraction of a second too late as Minas advanced to the semis last year. Andres Ibargüen puts a halt to the run by Minas, and it's 18-12 now. 2:18 to play first quarter. Borges says, look what I found. The seas parted, and he laid it in with the right hand.
That's way too easy. I mean, absolutely. You said the seas parted. I mean, I could have drove and finished that one. That is just way too easy. Flamengo a little bit loose now in the defensive end.
See, but you would have dunked it, Carlin.
On a Fisher-Price net, maybe.
Wesley commits the foul. Wesley Ferreira. Ferreira had a nice quarterfinals against Canataro. Scored 15 and 10 points, respectively, in the quarterfinal sweep. As the captain, Renan Len, sits down, along with Alexi Borges. Eden Ewing and Lucas Fagiano into the game now for Minas as well. Here's Fisher handing it off. Little sling pass by Vildosa. Fisher throws up the prayer, no good, but a foul called. I believe they're going to get Eden Ewing. Actually, that might have been Ferreira.
It was Ferreira committing the foul there. No one blocked out Minero that time, as he came basically from the corner wing and untouched and able to get a hand on it, and he's at the line. This is an important 2 minutes here, under 2 minutes here for Flamengo. The top two scorers on the other side, or at least the top two offensive providers on the other side right now, in terms of Boers and Lenz, are sitting on the bench. And if you can chip away, get back into this game, and try to seize momentum heading into the quarter break, I think Flamengo can kind of take that and say, you know what, the game got away from us a little bit in that first quarter. We got it back in business, and we could try to pull this thing together here as we head into the second.
Veteran Rafa Mineo gets both free throws to make it 20-14. 90 seconds to play now in this first quarter. Saved out. Wide open three. Back iron, no. Rebound finally corralled. And here comes Vildosa. Etchemeyer kicks it out. Three on the way. And Ferreira the rebound. Flamengo still has not hit from long range in this game. Kick out, three on the way by Guilherme Deodato. That's no good. Deodato actually played for Minas last year. He had a big role in that win for Minas in the quarterfinals. Now he's playing for Flamengo. Little awkward floater there. Somehow that went in. Fagiano. That looked like a Daniel Amigo shot from the Mexican national team. All kinds of awkward angles and things. That looked like a shot he would have taken. That long three-pointer, no good. Rebound ripped down by Hetschemeyer. And a foul called. I believe that's going to be on Fagiano.
There's a foul underneath.
Foul is going to be on Wesley Ferreira.
And you see Hetchemeyer, a problem on the offensive end. You know what he wants to do, right? He wants to play as close to the basket as he can. He brought up the golf analogy before. He does not want to step off the green. He wants to be as close to the cup as possible here. But on the other end, in screen and roll scenarios, he wants nothing to do with guarding on the perimeter. And that's why you saw that awkward floater kind of go in, because they caught Hetchemeyer in kind of no man's land there. He wants to stay as far back away from the perimeter as possible, and that floater might be there all night for Minas, depending on who has the opportunity to kind of turn the corner off of that screen and whether or not Hetchemeyer is going to come out and hedge.
Hetchemeyer gets the first free throw. He's got one more coming. That one misses. Shaquille Johnson swoops in and pulls that rebound down, and now a whistle. Minas wanted to be unsportsmanlike there. I didn't see where the contact occurred.
It's not a bad foul from Martinez. You have a couple to give.
Yeah.
And there was going to be a kind of a broken floor opportunity for Minas. Take the foul and have them go against your set D.
10 seconds to play. Here comes Borges into the front court. Splits a pair of defenders. Tries to get the pass out to Ewing. Minas, or rather Flamengo with the steal. Shot blocked. Fadeaway at the buzzer. They said it would not have counted for Deodato. But the first quarter will end with Minas on top of Flamengo by the score of 22-15. We are back live from Ginásio Pedro in Franca, Brazil, for the second quarter of the first semifinal of the BCL Americas Championship Tournament, 2023 edition between Minas and Flamengo in just a moment.
Começa por aí. Já começa por aí. É dos dois pivôs que tem que bater o fundo para a gente poder sair rápido. Não é o armador que tem que bater o fundo. Outra coisa, nós estamos jogando fundo. Jogamos fundo desse lado. Eles viraram a bola pelo 4. O que eles vão fazer? Virar a bola e fazer o quê? Bloqueio de novo. Aí o Gui está defendendo aqui e recebe um bloqueio. Ele tem que passar e já jogar fundo de novo. O Faxano não pode seguir. Deu para entender? Deu para entender isso não? Você já tem que falar fundo. Os pivôs que estão virando a bola, virou a bola, já tem que gritar fundo de novo. Se não for fundo, se não der o tempo, o cara errou. Ele bloqueou, vocês têm que sair mais altos, pivôs. Tem dois desse lado. Tem que ter mais atitude na defesa, cara.
Welcome back to Ginásio Pedro in Franca, Brazil, for the first semifinal of the 2023 BCL Americas Championship Tournament. After one quarter, Minas leads Flamengo by the score of 22-15 alongside Carlin Gay. My name's Craig Fada. Carlin, interesting first quarter, was a little back and forth. We've got some numbers to look at here.
Yeah, no question about it. And it's really, the big and the small for Minas in terms of Burgos and Lenz both has 7 points, 14 of the 22 for Minas. They've been able to kind of control things offensively, get to their spots, knock down threes, as you just saw right there, as Bulls now up to double figures, first man to do that this evening. But Flamengo's going to have to figure out a way how to neutralize that combo. They tried a zone for a couple of possessions in that first quarter. Didn't really work out. They got to figure something out here to try and slow them down.
First three of the game goes in for Flamengo. That's Jose Vildosa. He's a 43% three-point shooter.
Wow. Probably shooting with his eyes closed.
Ridiculous three-point shooting numbers in this tournament. And it's not some guy who just shoots one of two from three-point range. I mean, we're seeing guys at 45, 48% shooting 20 and 30 three-pointers. It's just astonishing from even how the game has advanced from even 5 years ago, as Redon Lenz gets the block there. Minas had a 10-point lead just a moment ago. Their biggest of the game. It stands at 9 now at 27-18. That three-pointer splashed that one for Flamengo.
Might have been a two. I thought the foot was on the line.
I thought the foot was on the line as well. I thought I saw an arm go up for three, but...
Regardless, though, a good sign, though. Flamengo really didn't have much on the perimeter in that first quarter, Craig. They're starting to fall a little bit for them now.
Borges has his shot blocked.
It's a much better D from Herschmeyer, who they continue to put in that pick and roll. They're going to put pressure on him. He's going to have to be active and block shots just like that.
Yeho gets it inside to Herschmeyer. Misses from in close. Great defense there by Eden Ewing. Ball out of bounds, and it's going to stay with Flamengo. with 10 left on the shot clock, but an outstanding job by Eden Ewing defending the bigger Rafael Hetschemeyer. Eden Ewing from Richmond, Texas. Played briefly at Purdue and then at Texas Southern. Spent 2 seasons in Cyprus before coming to Minas. Shot clock at 5. Here's Hetschemeyer. Not sure he's aware of the shot clock. 3 now 2. And that's going to be a shot clock violation. Flamengo may have thought they got the 14-second reset, but they did not. The shot clock started that possession at 10. So he might have thought he had a little extra time. That's where the bench and the players on the floor have to recognize that and give him some help.
You're a guy like Hetschemeyer, though. You've been around the block. You know that there's 24 seconds on the shot clock and 14 when the clock resets. You know you have to look up. You know you can't just dribble the ball in one spot with no movement and expect to beat a good defense. So he has to be better in that situation.
Fagiano circles it around, gives it up to Lenz. His short shot goes in. I'm watching Lenz at the international level for a long time. Little step back 3 by Guilherme Deodato is good. My goodness, that was pretty. And it's 29-23. Easy layup there. I believe that was Borges. It was so fast we didn't see it.
Again, though, attacking number 30 in red and black. Hetschemeyer is going to have his hands full on the defensive end in that pick and roll situation.
Wide open 3 is up and good. And then...
Oh, my.
That's a bad foul there. Eden Ewing runs shoulder first into the shooter.
That's a veteran play there by Hetschemeyer, though. The step in.
I don't know that Eden Ewing could necessarily have knocked him over, but Hetschemeyer sure sold it.
He definitely did. And, you know, we talked about him being around and this game often and having to know better about the shot clock. Well, that time he made up for that mistake and showing you his experience in drawing that foul. Now, they might be saying that this is not in the act. I don't know how it's not in the act, but, I mean, he was clearly shooting a 3.
You're right. They called it the initial call. Now that you say that, in my mind's eye, I see the official in my mind's eye calling a block after that.
Wow.
So that I think is the correct call. He was flat-footed after the shot. And I think that's what the official is explaining to him. In their judgment, the shot was well on its way. He was flat-footed when Ewing made that shoulder-to-chest contact with Hetschemeyer. That's a nice piece of officiating there. Left hand hook by Gabriel Galvanini is up and good. Galvanini had a nice quarterfinals against UDC. Had 10 points in the first quarter. And then the dunk there by Shaquille Johnson. As the action starts to pick up here, the follow is up and good. And it's 31-27. Lead down to 4. And to finish on Galvanini in the second quarterfinal game against UDC, he had 18 points and 12 rebounds. So we're coming up on the 6-minute mark. 5 on the shot clock. Bailout 3 tickles the bottom of that fringed net. And there you see Lucas Fagiano saying, man, I didn't have much choice with that one. That looked like a shot I would have put up in a rec league game. Oh, please hit something.
Listen, if Flamengo is going to play defense like that, I don't know if many people on the planet would be able to take any shot that they want. That was a great defensive possession that time by Flamengo. Yeah. As we take a look at the block by Lenz, and on the other end, using his size inside. We know he could shoot the 3, but I would love to see more of that. Get down and dirty in the inside.
And foul against Shaquille Johnson. Johnson, one of 3 Americans on the Minas roster. Played briefly at Marshall Spent 4 years in Argentina before coming to Minas. Spent 3 seasons with Minas, started the 22 season in Mexico, then came back to Minas. Talk about 3 Americans on Minas. Flamengo has no Americans on their roster. Lenz underneath, kicking it out to Bezzaro. His 3. Splash that one!
Craig, ever since about the 6-minute mark in the first quarter, we've seen Minas really kind of settle into this game and get what they want offensively, and that's the reason why they've extended the lead the way they have. But also, you see the tough defense. It's extended up the floor. They're not making it easy on the Flamengo guards to just dribble it up the court, and that's led to a couple shot clock violations. By the time you get across that half court, you look up at the shot clock and you have only about 12 to 14 seconds to work with. It really is disheartening to try and keep this pace up. Flamengo wants to slow things down, play inside out. Minas just wants to keep going NASCAR style, F1 style, put the foot on the gas pedal, and right now we're seeing that, and that's why they have the lead.
Glad you changed that to F1. We're in Brazil here. Definitely more F1 than NASCAR, but you mentioned the tough defense, and it doesn't appear that Minas is afraid to foul, especially the bench players, Eden Ewing, Lucas Feijano, and Wesley Ferreira. They're in the game. They're playing that tough defense. If they commit fouls, they commit fouls. It seems like Minas can live with that.
No question.
The lead is 7 for Minas. Here's Shaquille Johnson launching the 3, missing front iron. A little bit of a tangle underneath the bucket as Alexandre Parangos wants foul called, but no whistle. Ricardo Fisher whips that pass into the corner. A little baseline drive. And it is good by Gabriel Galvanini, and now Leonardo Costa wants timeout. As Flamengo pulls to within 5 with 4:37 to play in this second quarter. Pedal to the metal action in this second quarter so far, Carlin Gay. This has been an entertaining game.
No question about it. I won't speak over the Minas huddle, but first time they've let go of the rope here in this second quarter.
Hey, vamos fazer uma dentro trocando corpo. You gotta put more pressure on the ball. I mean, on this, you're getting stuck on double. Yeah, but even though you gotta fight those 2 screens for me. Fight those 2 screens. Hey, eles estão trocando. Nós vamos fazer uma auto com o Bezzaro. Já põe o cheque no pique rápido. Cheque, usa. Põe o mão a mão. Eles estão preocupados com o backdoor. Você vai pegar, vai jogar com Paranhos. Bezzaro vai na auto. You attack, do whatever you want. Agora, lá atrás, só para de errar. Chegou saltando o Jaú. Vamos. Bora.
International basketball is just so wonderful. We heard 3 languages during that huddle.
It's beautiful.
We heard English, Spanish, and Portuguese.
I laughed a little bit, though, in the discussion, Craig. You heard Coach Costa say, you got to put more pressure on the ball. I don't know how much more pressure Minas can put on the basketball. They've done a terrific job outside of the last 2 possessions in terms of forcing Flamengo to kind of make decisions and turn their back with their ball handlers. So, but you understand the moment, right? Like, this is the Final Four. This is not the knockout stage. This is not this is not the group stage. This is the knockout stage. You lose, you're playing in the third medal round. You don't want to be there. You want to take the effort or put the team to bed as early as possible to have a chance at the gold medal game. And he might be right. Maybe they have to turn up the intensity. I might be sitting here soft and saying, you know what? I don't know much more they could do.
And I think your observation about the tough defense is exactly right. Minas can live with the aggressiveness and the fouls as long as they're playing that tough defense. Leonardo Costa wants them to play defense in this game, no question. 3 on the way from Fisher, that's short. Rebound pulled out of there by Borges. Here comes Minas back the other way. 3 on 2, pull up 3 for Lenz, just missed. Rebound Vildosa. Vildosa calling out the play. Around the screen by Mineiro. Backs it out because there was nothing there. Shot clock at 7. Inside, kick out to Cuello for 3. That misses. Rebound out of bounds. They're going to say it got knocked out of Borges' hands, so it'll be Minas ball.
Gabriel Galvanini is having a terrific game so far for Flamengo. He's getting subbed out of the game right now, but he's played great in the minutes that he's been on the floor, especially on the offensive end. The Flamengo basketball, offensively has kind of been stuck. It's been a lot of one-on-one. They don't have many assists in the game right now. But with Galvanini on the floor, the ball's been moving. He's been creating opportunities not only for himself, but for his teammates. Great shift for him. See if that continues on in this game.
Little turnaround fadeaway from 14 pops out for Shaquille Johnson. Flamengo stuck at a 5-point deficit, but not anymore. Vildosa hits the three-pointer, and he cuts the lead down to 2.
Boy, you said he's shooting the lights out in BCLA competition, and he turned that corner and just fired it. That's confidence. That's swagger. And that's why this man is one of the best shooters here in the Final Four.
43% for Jose Vildosa, three-point range in this tournament. Leonardo Costa calls timeout, and let's listen in.
Tá sobrando chute para quem não pode sobrar. O Jaú tá cortando nos close-outs. A última você fechou bem, tá? Mas não pode mais sobrar o Vildosa. Você tá no Vildosa. Nós vamos fazer cheque no bloco. You choose zipper or you choose here. Eles estão dobrando. Renan, se trocarem com o do Renan, eu quero que você suba com o hatchback segundo bloqueio. Be aggressive.
Então quem tiver backshot vai segundo.
Sim, sim. Ei. Bora, não para de correr o primeiro momento. Vamos.
Minas led by as many as 10 early on in this second quarter. Flamengo has cut it to within 2 in the waning minutes, 36-34, as their outside shooting has come to life. Just inside 3 minutes to play in this second quarter. First semifinal of the day. Franca and Kimsa will square off in just a little while. We'll bring that one to you as well. Live from Ginásio Pedro Cal here in Franca, Brazil. Let's see how Minas responds. Got it inside to Lenz. Kicks it out for the three-pointer. Missed by Visaro. Boy, I thought Lenz had a good look at maybe a reverse layup there. But the veteran chose to kick it. There's Fisher in the corner. Gets his way into the lane. Little Euro step to the right around the right elbow, and that's good. And we are tied up at 36.
Boy, that's pretty from Fisher. You can't just pick up, get off your couch, and make a move like that. That is practice. That is hours in the gym, and it paid off to tie this game up.
That was an amazing move. Rayos misses, and now Minas possibly looking at a deficit. Flamengo, they have not led since 10-8 in the first quarter. And at 53 on the way, that's good! Martin Cuello hits from long range, and now Flamengo on top by 3. A 12-0 run by Flamengo to take this 3-point lead with just inside 90 seconds to play in this second quarter.
Basketball is a wonderful sport, Craig. You see how sometimes offense fuels your defense. You talk about the run, and we always pay attention to how runs are, started and maintained offensively, but it's really been the defense on this side of the floor for Flamengo. They've been able to guard the screen and roll a lot better than they had been, and that's the reason why they've been able to climb back into this game and take the lead.
I've been broadcasting professional basketball for a little over 10 years, and it never ceases to amaze me how pro basketball is a game of runs. It just astonishes me every time. And another tip in, my goodness. Beautiful tip there by Gabriel Galvanini. And now Flamengo on top by 5.
Can never turn this game off. You never know what's going to happen.
Well, how about the Bulls coming back from 19 down in the play-in game?
And that's regular nowadays.
Yeah. Finally, Minas stops the bleeding with the 15-foot jump shot by Alexandre Paranhos. And now Gustavo Conti wants timeout. He's going to regroup his squad for the final minute or so of this second quarter. Is there anything faster than Formula One, Carlin? You used that analogy earlier.
if there is, I don't know if I've seen it.
Maybe some of the top fuel dragsters? This has been crazy. This first half is any indicator of how the rest of the Final Four is going to go. We better stock up on throat lozenges.
It's excitement. It's back and forth. It's counterpunch. It's try to knock up low. You get back up. You fight back. Your back's to the wall. The bottom line is you see the passion, the emotion of both teams, and they're definitely primed and able to leave it all out on the floor for this game and don't worry about tomorrow when they wake up. And that's the beautiful thing about, you get to this level. You get to the Final Four. You get an opportunity to call yourself a BCLA champion. Only 3 have been able to do that so far. They want to be the 4th. One of these teams want to be the 4th, champion in BCLA history. They want to go on to represent the Americas at the Intercontinental Cup and call themselves a world champion. A lot on the line and a lot of pride, a lot at stake. You love it. You can feel it in your veins, really.
Coming up on 30 seconds to play in this second quarter. Kick into the corner, 3 on the way. That missed. Lenz had the rebound momentarily. It was poked out of his hand by Martin Cuello. And it'll be Minas ball, 29.6 to play in the second quarter.
Take a look at Paranhos. He knocked down that last jumper for Minas before the timeout. And honestly, Craig, there's shots that, are so important in the middle of games. It's not going to win the game or lose the game, but he knocked down that shot, and it really put a stop to the bleeding for Minas. And now they have an opportunity to potentially go into the locker room with the tie. That was such a big jumper in the moment.
Borges. 4 seconds difference between the shot clock and the game clock. And Flamengo with a foul to give. Aguirre grabs Borges.
When Minas was able to take control of the game, it was Borges able to really control the screen and roll actions. It didn't matter who was setting the pick. He was able to turn the corner and force Flamengo to make a decision. And more times than not, it was the wrong one, and he was able to put the ball in the basket. That's why he's one of our leading scorers in the game with 10 points.
Galvanini got a piece of that inbound pass. He thought he deflected it off of the Minas player. Inside right-hand dunk by Alexandre Paranhos, and that gets the Minas bench energized once again. And the three-point attempt comes up well short. And the first half comes to an end with Flamengo on top by the score of 41-40. What a tremendously entertaining first half. Flamengo led early. Minas came back, built up a 10-point lead of their own. Flamengo clawed back on a 12-0 run in that second quarter. They built their lead up to 5. And now just 1 point separates these two Brazilian rivals, about 200 miles apart in Rio and Belo Horizonte. 41-40 in favor of Flamengo. We will have a look at all the halftime numbers when we come back to Ginásio Pedro Cal in Franca, Brazil, in just one moment. Welcome back to Ginásio Pedro Cal in Franca, Brazil for the first semifinal game of the 2023 Basketball Champions League Americas Tournament. A frenetic first half, if you were watching the highlights just a moment ago, as Flamengo burst out of the gates early. They led for the first half of the first quarter, and then Minas went on a run, taking a 10-point lead early in the second quarter. Both teams then put on the gas offensively. Flamengo, through the latter stages of the second quarter, went on a 12-0 run. They ballooned their lead up to 5 before Minas answered and drew it back to within 1 point at 41-40. Alongside Carlin Gay, I'm Craig Fada. We're so glad you can be tuned in wherever you're watching from around the world. Hope you enjoyed the first half. And Carlin, I know we sure did. What do the numbers tell us?
Yeah, it was, I mean, not only the numbers, but you could just tell by the eye test, really. this was a very clean game. We've only had 5 turnovers, and I say only. We've had a lot of possessions. The game's been going up and down, as you've said. The fouls haven't really been shooting fouls. It's been a lot of ticky-tack calls that are away from the play, but it hasn't really impacted the flow of the game, and that's what you love to see. You love to see these two teams get up and down. For me, Minas right now leading in terms of assists, 11-5. I feel like that's a sustainable recipe for success when things get tight down the stretch. We saw when their offense was really humming. They were moving the ball, they were moving themselves, and they were getting a lot of open looks and also a lot of looks at the rim. It changed a little bit once Flamengo started to sit down in a defensive stance. That ball kind of stuck. And the same thing happened really for Flamengo on the other end. When the ball's not moving, it's so much easier for you to guard your man and guard as a team, and we've seen that on both sides. For two teams, Craig, that come in, that can put points on the board but also shoot well from three-point range, this game has kind of played out the way we've expected it. Back and forth. The lead changes have only been 2 right now, but the leads haven't been insurmountable. 10 is the highest right now in terms of Minas getting out to a 10-point lead. Flamengo with only a 5-point lead, and I say only. All you have to have is a 1-point lead when it's all said and done at the end of the game, right? So it's shaping up to be a fantastic second quarter. And I think the adjustments on both sides really is who can impose their will to start the third quarter and really get into what they want to do offensively. Because I think if these two teams, play this thing out, I'm leaning towards Minas to really to really consistently do what they want to do better, because they were able to move the ball a lot easier when they had things humming, and that's the difference for me right now in the game. The 11-5. On the assist count, I can't overlook that because everything else seems pretty even.
So if you were going to handicap this second half, you give the advantage to Minas over the height of Flamengo. You're going to look at Alexi Borges, 10 points, 3 assists. 4 of 7 from the floor.
It's amazing that it only feels like he has, it feels like he has so much more assists. Like 3, while not a, huge number, it feels like he's been able to kind of kickstart offenses. If you counted the hockey assists, so to speak, the assist before the assist, I'm sure he would have a ton of those. Because in that pick and roll action, I've talked about it throughout the entire first half, really, they've been putting a lot of pressure on Hertzmeyer, the bigs for Flamengo, and Minero as well, to come out and either hedge or challenge or guard. And Borges is really getting to where he wants to get on the floor, and it's really putting Flamengo in trouble on a defensive end. So he's going to be a key. Lenz is going to be a key as well, because that combo, Lenz, if he can get inside and really establish himself in the painted area, it just causes so many issues for any defense. Forget about just Flamengo. For any defense to try and stop, because he's also a player that if he gets going inside, we know he can step out and he has the confidence to knock down that 3. We saw him take one from basically Argentina in the first half, and then followed up taking one a little bit closer, but knocked that one down. The confidence doesn't waver with him. So it is brilliant to see when those two are playing really off of each other. It just opens up so much more for the rest of the team, and I think Minas has done a great job of figuring out how to get the ball in those two players' hands. And then on the other end, Flamengo, we saw a little bit of highlights from Galvanini, and perfect from the floor, 10 points, leading the way. Him coming off the bench really gave him that spark that led to the comeback. The game was kind of getting out of hand a little bit for Flamengo. They were down by double digits. Galvanini comes back into the game, and it wasn't just him scoring for himself. He was able to kind of create for others as well, whether it was on a perimeter, inside in the paint. We saw him with a nice little drop step, the good move, the patience inside to finish with either hand. He has it all in terms of being able to score offensively. I wonder if he will get more minutes now as it gets down to crunch time to help kind of relieve some pressure off the Hertzmeyers of the world to give you another scoring option and open the floor up for Hertzmeyer, who we know wants to play back to basket and try to create some offense on that low block.
Let's have a look at the full table of individual numbers. For Minas, as we mentioned, Alexi Borges, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Lucas Fagiano, 4 points, 3 assists. Shaquille Johnson, 4 points and 3 rebounds. Renan Lenz, 9 points. 2 of 4 from 3-point range. He's got 1 rebound and 2 assists. And Alexandre Granjos, 6 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. Eden Ewing, 2 points. And Felipe Vezaro has 5. Minas, 16 of 32 overall from the floor for 50%, 5 of 12 from 3-point range, 41.6%. They shot only 4 free throws in that first half, connected on 3 of them. They have 11 assists on 16 field goals, as you mentioned, and just 2 turnovers. And that's pretty impressive for a team that likes to motor up and down the court like they did in that first half. For Flamengo, Nicolas Aguirre, 2 points. Guilherme Deodato, I should say, 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Gabriel Galvanini has 10. He's 5 of 5 from the floor. He also has 4 rebounds. Rafa Mineiro, 2 points, 4 boards. Martin Cuello, 7 points. He also has a pair of rebounds. Ricardo Fisher, 2 points, 2 assists. Rafael Hetschemeyer, 5 points, 4 rebounds. And Jose Vildosa rounds out the scoring for Flamengo, 6 points. He added a pair of rebounds. Flamengo, 16 of 38 from the floor for 42.1%, 5 assists on 16 field goals. They were 4 of 18 from 3-point range, 22%. And boy, it seemed like they got hot in that second quarter, Carlin. I would have guessed their percentage was higher than that. And they were 5 of 6 from the free throw line for 83%. As you said, not a lot of free throws shot in this game.
And you can't see me, but I'm knocking on wood, making sure that stays the same, because we just want these guys to play end to end and between whistles. You know, the 4 from 18 from 3-point range kind of stuck out to me for Flamengo. And, you know, both these teams actually shoot the ball really well from 3-point range, around 40%, both of them. But Flamengo at 22% right now, it feels as though at some point percentages are going to play out and it's going to get back to where they're accustomed to. They're going to get closer to that 40% mark. And that's going to happen in a run. You know, you said this is a game of runs. Basketball is a game of runs no matter the level. At some point, it's going to feel like Flamengo is shooting through a hula hoop. I wonder how Minas is going to be able to kind of take care of, you know, not get discouraged by that. You know, you could play great defense, and sometimes the shot goes in. If you continue to consistently play that great defense over time, you'll be able to have the results. So we'll see what happens here as time goes on here in this second half.
First of 2 semifinals tonight, I should say. We've got Franca, the home team, taking on Quimsa, which will tip off just a little while after this one concludes, and the winner of this game will take on the winner of that game tomorrow for the big hardware, while the 2 teams that come up short today will play for 3rd place. What a fantastic facility this is. Inácio Perocao here in Franca, Brazil. This is just an ideal basketball venue. Very intimate, not a bad seat in the house.
And as we know, this is the basketball capital of Brazil. Hoops really runs this part of the country. We know football really runs the Americas, but this part of the country, it's all basketball crazy, and they are definitely going to be great hosts the entire weekend. And so far, they've been treated to a great first half. And not a betting man, but I would say we're in for a good one here in the second.
I would not bet against you on that, my friend. Alongside Carlin Gay, my name's Craig Fada. We are so glad you can be with us wherever you're tuned in from around the world for the 2023 edition of the Basketball Champions League America's Final Four. First of 2 semifinal games if you're just joining us. An exciting first half, which saw Flamengo finish it out on top by 1, 41-40. Don't forget, these two teams played in the quarters last year, with Minas scratching out an 85-83 win. And that one was a tight, exciting one down the stretch as well. So if this holds true to form, you better buckle down whatever you can for this next 20 minutes of basketball. Team switch ends. Here's Ricardo Fisher inside the right elbow. Flips one up with the right hand, and good.
The way that Fisher turned that corner, he had one thing on his mind. He was going to put a shot up. Lucky for him, it went in.
Minas, their first possession of this second half. Little scrum on the floor. Rugby not terribly popular in South America, but we're going to try it.
I know we commended the officials in the first half, but right there, this is where officiating and the experience comes in. Big game, chance to play in the finals for a BCLA championship. There could have been multiple times where any 3 of the officials on the floor would have blown the whistle there, but they let the teams figure it out. They let them kind of battle it out. And then when you had to blow the whistle, it came on time. Love to see that. Let the guys play.
And even on the initial trip down to the floor, it was just a matter of the feet going out rather than as a result of any contact. Now, Shaquille Johnson launches the three-pointer. He's a 47% three-point shooter, but he just drained that one to tie it up at 43. So now Minas looking to take the lead back. Borges from 17, a little contact from behind, and they did call it. I didn't hear the whistle. I thought for a moment that one escaped the officials, but...
Craig, look how far Hertzmeyer's back there. Look, he's basically under the net. He is begging for that mid-range jump shot or a floater, and Borges, who has 10 points right now, at the line now 11, he's going to take that shot all night long, and that's an easy look for him. That really is an easy look for him. Hertzmeyer's not doing a good job of hedging. He does not want to hedge, and I think that drop coverage is going to be something that could really cost Flamengo if they don't figure out how to guard that screen and roll the rest of the way.
Borges hits both free throws to give Minas a 45-43 lead here. I love the fringe on the bottom of these nets here. Little South American flair. I saw it for the first time in Montevideo in 2017, and I thought, my goodness, what is that? And then I saw a pretty swish shot go through, and I'm like, oh.
Doesn't quite make the same sound as the nets that don't have that fringe, but it looks great going through.
Looks like a diver gracefully going into the water and that little splash that comes up. That may have been where I initiated my splash three-point call.
Oh, you see, some artistic flair now being added to the nets and the mesh and different parts of the world. I wonder where they're going to take it next. Like, what's the next step from that? Do we add LED lights to them? Like, who takes that step to go even further than the fringe?
Well, did you see that FIBA approved a plexiglass court?
Wow.
Yeah. So that you can do all that sort of stuff. I suspect we're going to start seeing that in 3x3 play.
There you go.
That's going to be a lot of fun. I did the 3x3 FIBA Americas Championships in Miami in December. And that was a ton of fun. I can just imagine with that plexiglass cord and LED lighting underneath it, how much fun that's going to be.
Got to find a way to keep the game evolving. I think that's a pretty way to get the senses tingled a little bit.
In some trouble, gets it out to Alexandre Paranhos, and he hits as the shot clock is winding down.
He's had a good game so far, both ends of the floor. I thought he's done a great job guarding Hirschmeyer defensively, but also putting pressure offensively.
Drive by Fisher, no good up over Lenz, and it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Flamengo with 14 on the shot clock. Borges was in some trouble at the other end. He was doing his best Curly Neal Harlem Globetrotters impersonation, then had to pick up the dribble in the paint. Finally got it to Barrios. And an offensive foul against Minas. I beg your pardon, against Flamengo.
I don't know how many people that were born, after sometime in the 90s and beyond know who Curly Neal is, but Google him. One of the great ball handlers of all time. I know people like to credit Kyrie Irving for his ball handling skills. If there wasn't a Curly Neal, there wouldn't be a Kyrie Irving.
Three-point attempt off the curl by Shaquille Johnson, no good. Appreciate you calling out my age like that, by the way.
Well, I got the reference, so I'm not too far behind.
Excellent point. A little bit of a collision there near midcourt. Yeah, and that's going to be a foul against Gabriel Galvanini. He moved right into the screen. Or he rather moved the screen into Felipe Pizarro. Pizarro went down hard. So already fourth team foul on Flamengo with 7:06 to play in this third quarter.
There's also a tech on Coach Conti. That's why you heard the cheer in the background.
I did not see that. You have better eyes than me, my friend, as Borges goes to the free throw line. And he hits the tee. So this could be an opportunity for Minas to run a little bit here, because Flamengo does not want to pick up that 15 foul and send Minas to the free throw line. Borges now with 13. Borges around the screen, attacks. A little behind the back pass, tried to get it to Barrios.
Craig, that was much better defense from Hirschmeyer. You saw him accept Borges coming off of that screen and followed him all the way to the rim and forced him into a tough situation. He wants to score coming off of that screen. And, Hirschmeyer forced him into a playmaker. That was perfect defense. He has to continue that, though, and that's the tough part, really, when you're dealing with someone like Borges.
Pizarro commits the foul in the backcourt. Backcourt, I should say. Second team foul against Minas. Fisher loses his footing.
Wow. They're going to count that.
Yeah, I was... Fisher loses his footing, backs his way, kicks it out, and then Cuello gets the finish. Andy's going to go to the line to try to complete the three-point play. Cuello, 7 of 8 from the free throw line in BCLA play. He rattles that free throw home to complete the three-point play, and now Flamengo down by just 2. Borges getting it out to Shaquille Johnson, the 32-year-old American. Just turned 32 3 days ago. So we had a little South American fiesta for his birthday. Oh, and they're going to say Shaq was on the baseline when he came into contact with that ball.
They're saying it's staying here. Flamengo
No,
saying they touched.
I thought they went the other way.
And that's why the Flamengo bench was up in arms. And you saw in that replay, he was the last person to touch it.
Wow. Okay. Lenz, and now Lenz goes over the sideline. But before that, Flamengo wanted a delay call on the inbound pass. So we've lost a little bit of a flow to this game here. We've had some fouls. We've had some discombobulation, if we could use another automotive term. And now an easy layup there for Ricardo Fisher gets us tied back up at 48, 6:02 to play.
Oh, boy.
Rajos with a soaring layup attempt. Does not get it to fall, but he's going to go to the free throw line.
I feel Hurstmeyer's pain that time. You see the replay here. He did everything right. Yeah, there's a little bit of contact here.
Yeah, there wasn't much.
But there's been, much more contact on previous plays, and the whistle hasn't sounded. And when you're trying hard, to guard two men that are rolling to the basket, you got to make a decision. That's just a tough situation for a big to be in. Hurstmeyer, I feel his pain. It was a foul, but as I said, there's been contact on other possessions that have gone by and no whistle. So I definitely get the beef there.
Both free throws good for Pregame, and it's back to a 2-point edge for Minas as Flamengo now with 5 team fouls at the 5:52 mark. A three-pointer kicks off the front end of the rim as Lenz corrals the rebound. Defender hits the floor. Lenz launches the three-pointer. That's short. And now here comes Minas back the other way. They have numbers 3-on-2. Off the glass and in. Jose Vildosa scores to even things back up at 50. He's got 8.
It's a bad foul. Craig, that's a bad foul. I mean, I get it. Fisher's guarding one of the toughest guys to guard here on the perimeter in the Final Four, but you just reached. See there no shuffling of the puppies, nothing done there. And that's a fine foul if you're not in the penalty. It's even worse when you're in the penalty and you're sending someone to the line who, don't want to give him the broadcaster jinx, but I'm about to do it, hasn't missed yet tonight. So a really, really bad foul in that situation, in my opinion.
Well, I'll unjinx him. He's only a 67% free throw shooter in BCLA play coming into this one.
All right. Well, in this case, you don't know who to blame it on, right?
No, I think the blame can fall pretty squarely on your shoulders for that one. So Borges, with the second free throw attempt, nets that one, and it's 51-50. And now some pressure in the backcourt by Minas. Vildosa around the screen by Mineiro. Big lineup out there now as Andres Ibargüen is out there as well. And he gets 2 points to put Flamengo back on top. Just like the quarterfinal game last year in BCLA. That was a thrilling game. Mineiro for 3.
Don't want to leave him open. That's the last person you want to leave open.
Rafa Mineiro just 29.6% from beyond the arc in BCLA play this season. Buries that three-pointer, and now Flamengo on top by 3.
He can play in big-time moments, playing for the national team, playing for Brazil at the AmeriCup. Shot the ball really well in September. And a guy that can really heat up fast. As we listen into the huddle.
Suffice it to say, Leonardo Costa was not terribly pleased in the first part of that timeout, as he's seen his team fall behind by 4 now.
You gotta laugh sometimes at some of the pictures that we see on the screen. Galvanini laid out basically a rugby style tackle, call for that foul on that double screen earlier in the third quarter, and saying to the officials, hey, he flopped. That was that hand motion. I don't know if that was a flop.
No, I think that was pretty substantive contact there.
Bone-jarring hit, to say the least. On that last Mineiro 3, though, the reason why he was so wide open and the reason why Flamengo was able to get out and transition for that basket was because of the way he guarded that screen and roll. And you see the difference between him and Hurstmeyer when you have a mobile big like Monero who can move his feet, shuffle his puppies, he's not afraid to get out on the perimeter. He's able to hedge. Before that ball handler could even turn the corner on that screen, you're standing in front of the guy that's about 6'9". You know, you see all of 6'9" in front of you. It changes your mind a little bit and at least slows you down so that your defender could come back and tag. And Monero was able to do that. The turnover happens, the strip happens, and he sprints on all the way down the floor and finds himself open for a three. So in these next couple of minutes, I'm going to be paying attention to the way that Monero really changes how Minas is attacking offensively, because we've seen them have success in that pick and roll scenario when Hertzmeier's on the floor. He's not there right now. You have a little bit, have a guy who's a little bit more fleet of foot, and we'll see how that changes things offensively for Minas. There's that
we look at
alleged flop.
Shuffled his puppies. I've not heard that expression before. I like it.
Gotta move the feet. Gotta shuffle the puppies.
See Gustavo Conti talking to one of the FIBA officials at the table, and he's quickly brought back to his bench by one of the floor officials. Not sure what that's all about.
He's got to be careful. He already has one technical foul in his back pocket that he does not want to add the second and hit the showers early.
He's still in the ear of the official. He's lucky he's being allowed to stay standing. Kick out, three on the way. And strong. Rebound tipped nicely by, let's see who got a hand on that. Oh, driving a kick out by Shaquille Johnson. He had nowhere to go. What a great defensive play at the other end by Wesley Ferreira. Flamengo keeps possession, but Ferreira on the fast break, getting back and preventing the easy layup. Now Flamengo with 7 on the shot clock. Here's the drive by Vildosa. That's up and good.
Craig, the kids call a player like Vildosa a bucket. He can get his whenever he wants, whether it's inside, outside. That floater is beautiful to see fall through the hoop.
Here's Johnson. Now Parayos missing from about 8 feet. Flamengo looking to extend this 5-point lead. 3:15 to play, third quarter. Shot clock at 8. Vildosa wheeling and dealing. Underhand pass, a little too strong. And that sails out of bounds. Off of the hands of Andres Ibargüen. So now Minas looking to try to get something going inside 3 minutes to play, third quarter. Little lob inside, and Ferreira
traveled.
Yeah, he sure did. I was wondering if they were going to get the contact on the defender flying by, but he definitely shuffled his feet underneath. We get a look at it here. Yep. Shuffle the puppies, in fact. But you don't want to do that when you have the ball.
Nope, that is against the rules, as they say.
Tipped out of bounds. It'll stay with Flamengo. 2:34 to play, third quarter. Shot clock at 8. Fisher. Get down to Ibargüen. He goes off the glass. Strong move over Wesley Ferreira and scores.
Here's Andres Ibargüen, Colombian national, plays for the Colombian national team, played at the AmeriCup, and he's called upon to be a secondary scorer there. He's coming off the bench here for Flamengo. He knows how to put the ball in the basket. And apparently
shot blocked, but they're going to call a foul. Biggest lead of the game now for Flamengo as Ricardo Fisher protesting. Lexi Borges pops right out of whatever device you're watching on into your lap. 2:01 to play in the third. And Flamengo, a technical foul on the bench. Thought I heard a whistle, and sure enough, this may give some momentum now to Minas as Borges hits the free throw.
And quite honestly, it's Flamengo's lucky it's a bench technical and not a second tech to Coach Conte.
Yeah.
And I get it. Frustrations sort of rise when you
Sure.
feel like you're getting the wrong end of the whistle multiple times, but with your team up, this doesn't feel like the time to be complaining about something like that and allowing Minas to score while the clock stopped.
So Borges with 3 free throws cuts the lead down to 4 inside 2 minutes to play. Borges now 17 points. He's 7 of 8 from the stripe. My goodness, Guillermo Deodato scores from three-point land. Showing off that 46% three-point shooting ability there. Gets Flamengo back on top by 3. He says 3 free throws, no big deal. I'll just drain this fall-away tray.
Oh, great defense.
And now Shaquille Johnson protesting.
Probably won't get the replay of the defense there by Barguin, but he did an incredible job of moving, staying in front of his defender, contesting, not even touching him. That was great defense, picture perfect.
How about balanced scoring by Flamengo? Cuello with 10, Deodato with 10 now, Galvanini with 10, and Vildosa with 10. Now Rafa Mineiro with 8. Biggest lead of the game again for Flamengo inside of a minute to play, 63-54. If you're Minas, maybe you get it down to 5. You hope to get it down to 5. Shot clock at 5. Three-pointer is up and good. What a huge shot there by Lucas Fajano. Now Deodato fouled. That's a good foul to take. Shaq Johnson.
In the first half, I talked about shots that may not win or lose the game, but they're definitely moments, a bookmark in the story being told here tonight. And that Fajano 3 was one where you bend the corner of the page on, you look back and you might say to yourself, that was an important shot in the result. Because it came in a big moment. Flamengo was really flexing their muscle. It just felt like they needed something, and Fajano gave him with that 3.
Fisher picked up by Vizarro, and now another whistle. And a carry.
Yeah, he carried it.
Wow. Don't see that call very much in the modern game.
And again, this goes back to that Fajano 3. We were closing in on maybe double digits. Now you have a chance to kind of string some points together and go back into that quarter break and say to yourself, take that deep breath and say, you know what, we might have dodged a bullet. We might have been able to withstand that run, and now it's time for our own.
Borges picked up by Aguirre. About a second plus difference between the shot clock and game clock. Shot clock at 7. Look at about 1.7 difference. Borges for 3. Splash that one! My goodness, back-to-back three-pointers by Minas gets them to within 3 at the end of the third quarter. They trailed by 9 just a moment ago, and it looked like Flamengo might be loading up for the knockout punch, but Minas says not so fast to their Belo Horizonte rivals. And we are in for a barn burner down the stretch as Flamengo leads 63-60 heading into the fourth quarter of the first game of the semifinals of the 2023 BCLA Americas Championship Tournament. Back in a moment, live from Franca.
estamos jogando 7. O mais importante também é não dar a segunda chance, não vamos dar a segunda chance. O Pepe tá pelo Doku e o Ricardo tá pelo Pepe. Lá, bloquear parado, sempre procurando cheque, sempre procura o cheque, tá certo? Presta atenção que ele tá pedindo troca já, o pivô nosso tá mais próximo da cesta, também tem uma bola pro pivô. Se o cheque não dá, jogamos giro e varejão no final. Eles estão saindo agressivos, sempre pick and roll com eles, varejão. Sempre.
Welcome back to Ginásio Perocao in Franca, Brazil, for the first of two semifinal games this evening in the 2023 BCLA Championship Tournament. Alongside Carlin Gay, I'm Craig Feta. What a game we've had so far. Minas led after one quarter, 22-15. Flamengo led at the half, 41-40. Looked like Flamengo was starting to exercise their will, taking a 9-point lead in the closing minute as Renan Lenz blocks a shot. Taking a 9-point lead in the final minute of the third quarter, but back-to-back three-pointers by Minas cuts the lead down to just 3 as we start the fourth.
Nice.
Oh, Ferreira could not get the finish. Gets the rebound back off the glass and in.
Good hustle there by Ferreira. He might have got away with a walk. But 2 none the same.
His first 2 points get Minas back to within 1. Cross-court pass to Vildosa. Shot clock at 5. He's out near midcourt. Lenz blocks the shot, but he gets called for the foul. Boy, Lenz tried to slow play the defense there. Kind of let him go by, knowing that he had the length to try to block that shot. And he did get a piece of it. He didn't want to commit the foul there. But then he committed it on the shot.
Vildosa had some caps with the Argentinian national team at the AmeriCup back in the fall. Well, the fall in America, of course. A little different. Different where you are, no matter where you are, but played well coming off the bench behind Facu Campasso and, of course, that veteran-laden squad. He doesn't get much minutes playing with the big national team, but he's a guy that when you put him on the floor, automatic, microwave type of player, is going to be able to score, and he's pretty crafty with the basketball in his hands.
Borges. Oh, a little stop move. Wow, what a pretty move by Alexi Borges. Gets the shot and the foul. He's going to go to the line to try to complete the three-point play and take the lead. Boy, he put on the brakes Maverick style, and the defender flew right by.
We saw that last second reach in. Vildosa paying the price. If you're going to foul, you got to foul hard in these situations. Make sure that the ball doesn't get above someone's shoulders. Old-fashioned three-point play.
And just like that, Minas back on top, 65-64. We didn't think it was going to be any different. Three-pointer from the corner, no good. And now Minas looking to run a little bit. Fagiano. Behind the back dribble. Oh, has his pass intercepted by Vildosa. Here comes Flamengo back the other way. Stolen away by Alexi Borges. Now Minas running. Oh my goodness, what a pass by Alexi Borges. That was a Magic Johnson special if I've ever seen one. You talked about Facundo Campazzo just a moment ago. That would make Facu stand up and cheer. My goodness, what a pass by Borges. That's going to be on every highlight reel for this tournament from now until the end of eternity. Oh, I can't wait to see that again as Gustavo Conti calls timeout. His team's got to be absolutely shell-shocked right now.
Quatro baixo lá, tá certo? O Jaú aqui. Passamos. Oh, melhor ainda, nós vamos jogar linha. Jaú aqui, hatch aqui, louco. Bola aqui, o outro aqui, Ricardo ou Pepe. Passou, recebeu, Jaú. Recebe, olha o Jaú pega a posição. Aqui, Ricardo abre, abrimos, deixa o lado pro Jaú jogar. Faz o hatch vai ficar aberto. O hatch vai ficar aberto. Você vai passar e vai cortar. Vai embora. Isso. É linha e...
Some of these highlights are great, but others are just simply spectacular. And there's the spectacular. We talked about Borges' buckets tonight, 23 points, leading all scorers. He has 6 assists, none prettier than that behind the back wraparound dime.
Another block by Lenz. Everybody thought that Borges on that pass was going to kick it out for the three-pointer. Nope. A little behind the back drop pass. And before that bucket, since Flamengo took the 9-point lead, Minas went on a 13-1 run. Borges can't finish there as he gets up and sprints down the floor. Flamengo still with the numbers. They missed the open three on a 5-on-4. Borges directing traffic. Inside now, pass tipped. Goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Minas with 8 on the shot clock. As you said, Alexi Borges now 23 points, 6 of 10 from the floor, 3 of 4 from three-point range. He's got 6 assists and 4 rebounds. Just under 7 minutes to play. Maybe time to start thinking about foul trouble. Borges does have, well, he only has 1 foul. Wesley Ferreira has 3. Felipe Vizarro 2. That three-pointer by Fajano is no good. For Flamengo, Galvanini has 3. Hetchemeyer has 2. Cuello 2. It's really the only foul situation to note for Flamengo. Hetchemeyer, his three-pointer is up and good. Hetchemeyer, a 37% free throw shooter. I was looking at Martin Cuello. And now Flamengo back on top, 69-67.
I wonder if that 3 gets them going here, Craig. They're only shooting 6 of 24 from three-point range for a team that shoots it well, around 40%.
Fajano says no worries there. Minas back on top. And now another three-point attempt. That one rattles out. Rebound back tapped out of bounds. It'll go to Minas.
You can just see the intensity on everybody's face on both sides. See what it means. Chance to hoist the BCLA Championship trophy at the end of this weekend.
Fajano into the front court, guarded by Vildosa. He finally escapes the defenders. Oh, gets the cutting Lenz. Lenz wanted to try to dunk that, but he couldn't get all the way to the bucket. And he ended up for like an overhand kind of layup attempt that ended up missing wide right. Now the three-point attempt is short. Rebound grabbed by Johnson. Giano. You almost feel like these teams want to take a breath here and just get into some half-court sets. Three-pointer on the way from Ferreira. That misses, and the rebound grabbed by Aguirre.
And that's why you're seeing so many threes now in these last couple of possessions. They just don't have the legs to take it to the rack anymore.
Beg your pardon, that was Deodato on the rebound. That three-pointer is up and good. Cuello hits. He's the 51.4% three-point shooter. And now Flamengo on top by 2, 72-70.
Of course, if you shoot the three ball like these two teams, maybe that's the best shot available. Forget about the layups.
Yeah. Johnson now. A little bit of contact, but no call. That might have been one of those where he kicked out the shooting leg and the official didn't buy it. Deodato as Lenz and Galvanini are tied up. They're going to get right on Lenz for that foul.
This is the time in the game, if you're Coach Conti and Coach Costa, where you finally get the 5 on the floor you're comfortable with closing the game.
Three-pointer up and good. My goodness. All of a sudden, teams are heating up. That one by Galvanini. Galvanini coming into this one, he was just 3 of 17 from three-point range, but he strokes it there.
He had a big-time first half. 10 points, didn't miss a shot in that first half. Was a little quiet here up until then. His first 3 points here in the second. He's up to 13, shooting 6 of 8 from the field. He feels like he's going to be someone that finishes this story tonight for Flamengo.
Now Leonardo Costa calls timeout before this one starts to get too far away again. Flamengo on top by 5 after that three-pointer by Galvanini. And Carlin, every time it seems in this game like somebody is about to take control for good, the other side steps up and says, not so fast.
Two teams that know each other well. They know how to counterpunch. They're a bunch of veterans on each side. You see the passion, the emotion. Galvanini now chest bumping assistant coaches on his way to the bench. But the three ball has really been the difference in this game for both sides. When the three ball's fallen in the little stretch where you get that run, it just feels like Uncle Momentum is wearing your jersey. And right now, it's in favor of Flamengo. They have struggled all night from three-point range, 8 of 28 so far in the game. But they're hitting timely, deep balls right now, Craig. And if they're able to knock a couple more down, it feels like it might be too much for Minas to overcome.
If you're just joining us, welcome in. We are in the fourth quarter of the first semifinal game. This one's been a back-and-forth affair right now. Emphasis on right now. Flamengo's on top, 75-70.
If you remember, Craig.
Alongside Carlin Gay, I'm Craig Feda. If you are just joining us, well, you've missed a lot of great basketball, but we've still got a few minutes left, and I have no doubt the final few minutes of this one will be just as exciting as the first 35.
If you remember, Craig, halftime, Flamengo had trouble really getting assists, so to speak. They weren't moving the ball the way they should. They're up to 15 now in the game. They were at 5 at half. Ball's popping a lot more, and the offense just looks so much better.
Johnson on the block right side. Hits the turnaround fadeaway as the defender swoops in from behind to try to block it, but he still hits. Johnson now with 9. Little kick out there by Deodato. Out of Vildosa. Moving around on the outside. Little floater with the right hand. Martin Cuello hits.
Last 2 defensive possessions for both teams, they went to zone. Minas was in a 3-2. Flamengo was in a 2-3 on a previous possession.
Borges from 15. Approaching the 3-minute mark, Borges now with 25 to lead all scorers. Vildosa gets it back from Deodato. Shot clock at 8. Not much offensively on this possession so far for Flamengo. Cuello trying to find anything, and he does.
If you believe in the power of prayer or don't, there's an example of something that someone might call a prayer, and it was answered.
Believed in Sir Isaac Newton in that one. Gravity helped him out there. Pizarro pulling up, giving up the dribble. 5 on the shot clock. For 3, Borges rattles out, rebound, back tap, and controlled by Galvanini. Flamengo by 5. Maybe now they can start to take control as we approach the 2-minute mark. Of course, we saw Minas score a bunch of points in a hurry at the end of the 3rd quarter and at the start of the 4th. Deodato misses, ball tapped out of bounds, and it's going to be Minas ball. Great defense on that trip up the floor by Minas, denying the sharpshooter Guilherme Deodato from adding 2 more.
It's just great defense there by Lenz, not fouling, contesting, using his length. Craig, you look at the score, right? We're in a 5-point game, 2 minutes to play. The man who has the ball in his hands has to be the guy for Minas to get back into this game and potentially win it.
Borges gets it inside. Garanhos up off the glass. No. Great defense out of the bucket by Galvanini. Minas had a mismatch somewhere, but that wasn't it. Because Cuello got stuck on the outside on the switch. Shot clock at 3. Bailout 3-pointer. Oh, I thought that was going to fall. Shaquille Johnson the rebound. 1:10 to play in this 4th quarter. Minas trailing by 5, and now Flamengo wanted to travel, but I think they're going to call the foul on the floor.
Yeah, it's on Fisher. So Johnson here, I mean, love his game, right? Like, he's had a great game so far, 9 points and counting, but you have to find your go-to player in situations like this. Borges is working on a game where he has 25 points, but also 6 assists. So if you're Johnson, if you give it up, you might get it back. I think Minas right now in this timeout is so important. Whatever play call they make, the ball has to be in number 4 in White's hands.
If you're looking at 3-point shooters for Minas, Fajano, 36%, Borges, 35%. Isaac Hamilton, who I do not believe we've seen in this game. We have not. He's a 47% 3-point shooter. Felipe Pizarro, 51%. Wesley Ferreira, 38%. Shaq Johnson, 47%. Moving over and on Lenz, while in BCLA play, only shooting 31% from beyond the arc. We know he can hit that 3 ball. He's 2 of 5 in this game. Minas have any magic left down the stretch. Come back from a couple of deficits in this one. Trailed by 9 in the closing minute of the third quarter. Cut it to 3 and then took the lead on a 13-1 run. As we look at the beautiful fadeaway by Shaq Johnson. Prayer by Cuello as the shot clock was winding down.
Kind of know what's coming here, right? You don't need to be an expert at watching basketball or dissecting what's happening in front of you. Feels like it's going to be a pick and roll situation. What can they get out of it?
Ramos. Drive and the foul.
This should be off the pass. There was no shot attempt whatsoever there.
That's not a bad foul to take. 1:02 to play. It's going to be Minas ball with 14 on the shot clock. Leonardo Costa. His assistants, by the way, Joao Otto and Renan Herrera. Here's Parangos. Inside of a minute. Shot clock at 10. Borges. And another reach in. I believe that's going to be on Mineiro. They did have one to give.
Smart once again. Borges is ready to turn the corner and work 2-on-1. Mineiro did the right thing. You know you have a foul to give. You give it. Set the defense once again.
Good veteran play by the 34-year-old Mineiro. He did not want to be guarding Borges. Rayos could not get the shot to fall on the layup attempt, but he does draw the foul. I'm sure he would much rather have had that shot go in. So Parangos will go to the free throw line. Alexandre Parangos, a 78.6% free throw shooter in BCLA play coming into this one. He's 4 of 4 tonight.
Both sides need to block out here. This is such an important possession.
One more coming. Comes up short. So it's a 4-point deficit, 45 seconds to play. Clock, our graphic clock was not running, but Minas, or rather Flamengo, chewing up some time here. Shot clock at 6. And a foul by Lenz. Not a terrible foul, but
considering the circumstances, it might be a bad one because you had him
Flamengo
down
was
5.
not in a great position to get a shot off there with 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Now that clock resets back to 14, and obviously, Lenz in a tough position there. He tried his best to move his feet and try to get ahead. Couldn't do it. But now the question is, do you foul here and try to send Flamengo to the line and play the free throw game, or do you just guard and hope that you come up with a rebound and a miss? Either way, Flamengo right now controlling their own destiny.
And Fisher sold that foul a little bit too. He kind of threw his head back before there was any contact as he was coming around.
It's like a prerequisite now if you're a guard at any level of basketball. Just throw your head back and hope that the whistle blows. More times than not, it happens in your favor, and Fisher just, to your call, did just that. And that was an important play because they had nothing going. They had no shot of getting anything substantial to the rim with 5 seconds left, really near the timeline. It's a great point there, Fisher, with the heads-up play, no pun intended.
And now the officials going to the replay. Not entirely certain what they're looking at.
Scratching my head about that as well. Regardless, though, this has been a fun game, hasn't it? I mean, two
really
rivals battling for a chance to get to the finals. Gym's starting to fill out here for our next game.
Yeah.
But it's great to see, you know, the passion, the emotion on both sides. We know it's at stake here, and you can really feel it. Hope at home, you feel it kind of pulsing through your own screen, watching wherever you are in the world. It's been great.
32.4 to play in this first semifinal between Flamengo and Minas. It's been back and forth. Minas led by as many as 10, Flamengo by as many as 9. Last year's quarterfinal was a nip and tuck affair, won by Minas by 2. Can Flamengo return the favor? And that's the issue. The clock never started.
We're going to put it around 28 seconds, right?
Yeah, 28 seconds left.
Wow.
Instead of 40 seconds, yeah.
So that bad foul just went.
Yep, that went from bad to really worse.
Yeah.
And you saw Leonardo Costa's expression. He was like, whoa, that many seconds, huh? Okay.
Changes everything now.
Yeah, it really does. Maybe our graphics guy, he's anticipating overtime. He threw up that OT. There it is again. We're still in the fourth. Hey, I wouldn't mind if we went to OT. This game's worthy of it.
Never complain about free basketball, as they say.
No. Don't forget, we've got another semifinal coming up after this one. Franca and Kimsa. Flamengo to inbound. Shot clock at 10. Fisher. Kicks it into the corner. Vildosa, no good. Rebound out of bounds. That's going to be Minas ball. Ooh. With 13.7 to play.
And there's an argument to be made to go to the review here and make sure that it is indeed Minas basketball. I think we might have that. It's close. From our vantage point,
I thought it was Minas ball, but yeah, it's when it's this tight down the stretch, and that's exactly what they're going to look at. Great job by our officiating crew, veteran crew all night long. Seeing these guys at multiple international high-level tournaments.
So I believe this falls under the category of a challenge for Flamengo, and why not use it in this situation? Really have nothing to lose if you do lose the challenge, right?
But on the other hand, it also gives Minas a chance to draw up something offensively if it's their ball. How this shakes out.
Yeah, as it sits right now, though, if you're Minas, right, like you believe it's your basketball. As you said, you have the opportunity to draw something up and try to get a shot at the rim. Whether it's a 2 or 3 at this point, I think at this point in the game, you have to try and take a 3 first, then look for the 2 if the 3 is not initially there, and then play the foul game. But we'll see what happens with Minas. In my opinion, if the ball does not touch Borges' hands, then something went wrong.
Oh, and they are going to reverse it. It's going to be Flamengo ball.
Wow. Wow.
That's a huge call. See if we can get a look at it here.
It was the right call.
Yep, does look like Paraios touched it last, so Minas will definitely foul here. There's the foul by Paraios.
It's always dangerous in those situations because you got to make sure you're making the basketball play. You don't want to give up the unsportsmanlike foul.
And now Flamengo calling timeout.
As we go to this huddle, Craig, you know, Gustavo Conti, who's been in this position before with Flamengo, right? He's been to 2 BCLA finals in the past, trying to make it a third. He's won one, he's lost one. He knows what it's like to be on either end. But how sweet it would be for him to continue to build his legacy, not only in Brazil, but in the Americas, as one of the best coaches at the club level, and get back to the finals here in the BCLA. And you know, people sitting out there might say to themselves, oh, he's been to 2 finals? That's great. Well, this thing's only been around for 4 years. To be able to say that you've been in more than half of the finals played is an incredible feat, in my opinion. And for him to get back, if they're able to complete the win here, get back to the finals once again and say, hey, 75% of the time I show up in this competition, I'm playing for the championship, it's pretty historic in my opinion.
And this BCL Americas tournament has really blossomed into something fabulous. The FIBA staff in FIBA Americas done just a tremendous job putting these on.
I was lucky enough to
social media aspects.
Yeah.
Getting everybody engaged. Great teams from around North and South America. This year we had the Hamilton Honey Badgers from Canada. Last year it was the Edmonton Stingers.
Uh-oh.
Here's the inbound pass.
Wow.
And they get the violation. My goodness. They could not get the ball in time. Renan Lenz guarding the inbound pass, denied it, and caused the turnover. I think if you're Minas here, you have to try for a higher percentage shot. You go for 2, then foul, maybe go for 2 again. Instead, Borges, a little stop-and-go move, kick out for 3. No good. And a foul on the rebound. Gabriel Galvanini pulls it down. He's had a whale of a second half. He's made impact play after impact play in this second half.
A lot of
Gustavo Conti.
A lot of things that he's done this evening won't show up on the stat sheet. The numbers, though, are there. 13 and 8. He shot the ball efficiently from the field, 6 of 8. But these are 2 huge free throws, Craig.
3 seconds to play. First free throw, no good. Minas would have had a difficult time anyway, even had they made a basket there, with a foul and only 3 seconds to play. Let's see. What happens as the lead now by Galvanini is extended back to 5.
I don't know if you're a Flamengo supporter, if you exhale just yet, or you wait the 3 seconds and fully exhale, because this game has been an adventure in the last 30. He had possession changes. You had 5-second violations. You had wide open threes that would normally fall down in certain circumstances being missed. Rebounds squeezed. It has been an adventure in these last 30 seconds. Both teams leaving it all out on the floor, but only one, Craig, could go to the finals.
There you see the Franca fans starting to make some noise. Looks like 10 seconds to play. 5-second deficit. Certainly not out of the realm of possibility.
The clock has been an issue right now for the last couple of minutes, right? Score sheet, it's 10, and the arena was showing 3 for a second. It's kind of bouncing all over the place. I mean, the players on the floor are the only ones that really need to know how much time they have. Forget about the commentators, but it's still a stressful situation for both sides.
There's Alexi Borges. Great work by our FIBA camera crew. as always in these international tournaments, you won't see a better production anywhere around the world. Fagiano to inbound. He might look to get it right back, but no, the three-pointer by Shaq Johnson is short, and this one will go final. Flamengo comes out on top 80-75, just a thriller of a game. Flamengo turns the tables on the quarterfinal game from a year ago in which Minas won by 2. Flamengo now on to the championship game. Their opponent to be determined in just a little while. It's going to be Franca and Quimsa tipping off in just a little bit. We will bring that game to you. But we still have a little business left on this one to wrap up. Just a thriller, Carlin Gay. Flamengo finally down the stretch able to take control of this one. This one went back and forth so many times, and every time it looked like one squad was going to take control, the other one said not so much. But finally down the stretch, Flamengo able to assert their will, a lot of it because of the work you just saw on the glass. And tomorrow, Flamengo will be playing for the championship.
Well deserved. They did it on both ends of the floor and kind of just outlasted Minas here. I don't want to say they beat them; they outlasted them. If you had more time on the clock, who knows who'd come out with the victory. It was really a back and forth affair. But if you're Flamengo, you look at the stat sheet and you say to yourself, well, we only shot 27% from three-point range. That's not us, right? That's not our basketball. You know, we only got to the line 11 times. It's not really us. And it could have been a little bit cleaner in certain possessions. While they only had 9 turnovers, some of the turnovers were kind of egregious. There were some, turnovers in the first half where it was a shot clock violation, just lack of attention to detail there. You saw the 5-second count. Really, with the game on the line, you had an egregious 5-second violation that could have been detrimental to this game. So there's things to clean up. But you take the deep breath and you say, we survived and we advanced. And Coach Conte going back to the BCLA finals for the 3rd time in 4 years. An incredible job for this club, and they continue to establish themselves in the BCLA as one of the teams to beat.
Let's take a look at the final numbers on this one for Minas. 26 of 59 from the floor.
Gabriel, qual foi a chave Flamengo vencer um jogo tão equilibrado e se classificar para a final da BCLA Américas 2023?
As we listen into the interview with Gabriel Galvanini.
Bom, acredito que o nosso ponto maior foi a defesa. A gente no primeiro quarto sofreu muita transição deles e era como eles estavam pontuando. A partir do momento que a gente conseguiu acertar um pouco isso, a gente conseguiu passar à frente e também controlar o jogo. Isso foi, acho que, a peça fundamental aí pro jogo, pra gente sair com a vitória daqui.
Pouco tempo para descansar. Como é que chega o Flamengo na final?
A gente vai com tudo, independente de quem seja o adversário. Vai ser um adversário duro, um jogo duro. E a gente tem que estar preparado mentalmente, fisicamente, todo mundo recuperar bem aí para amanhã tá todo mundo 100% aí.
Obrigado, Jaú. Parabéns.
I believe that was my friend Federico doing that interview. Federico Suave. Called a few games with him a few years ago in Venezuela. And the FIBA media staff. Let's continue to run down the final numbers on this one. For Minas, 26 of 59 from the floor, 44%. 9 of 25 from three-point range for 36%. 14 of 17 from the free throw line, 82.4%. 17 assists on 26 field goals. They had 27 rebounds as a team, just 8 turnovers. Borges led the way with 25 points on 7 of 12 shooting. He had 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Lucas Fagiano, 10 points, 3 assists. Wesley Ferreira, 2 points. Shaq Johnson, 9 points, 5 rebounds. Renan Lenz, 11 points. He had a quiet second half offensively, played some good defense. He also had 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Eden Ewing, 2 points. Alexandre Paraños, 11 points. And Felipe Vizarro had 5. For Flamengo, 32 of 70 for 45.7% from the floor, 8 of 30 from three-point range, 26.7%, 8 of 11 from from the free throw line, 72.7%, 15 assists on 32 field goals. They out-rebounded Minas 43-27. They only had 9 turnovers in the game. Individually, Nicolas Aguirre, 2 points. Martin Cuello had 19 to lead all scorers for Flamengo. He also added 5 rebounds. Guilherme Deodado, 10 points. Rafa Muñoz at 6 and 6 rebounds. Jose Vildosa, 11 points. He also added 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Ricardo Fisher, 6 points, 5 dimes. Gabriel Gavlanini, who we just heard from, 14 points on 6 of 8 shooting. He also added 8 rebounds and 3 assists. Rafael Hetchemeyer, 8 points, 6 rebounds. Andres Ibargüen had 4. And that rounds out the scoring for Flamengo. Once again, the final 80-75. Flamengo, as you said, Carlin Gay, survives and advances. And in tournament play, that is the best you can hope for, is surviving and advancing. For my partner, Carlin Gay, I'm Craig Feda. We are back in just a little bit for semifinal number 2 between Quimsa and the home team, Franca. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. That was a fun one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I'm gonna save my voice a little bit. I was having to mute an awful lot and cough. Sounds good. Yeah, me too.